Hey gang, Ruin here. Welcome on back to the Cade and another episode of Suckerpunch Sunday, where we take a deep dive into a classic fighting or fighting platform-based game from the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th generation. And for this week, we're going to go back 30 years now to 1995. We're going to play the video game adaptation of the 1993 Sylvester Stallone, Wesley Snipes, Sandra Bullock feature, Demolition Man. This game came out both on the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis, as well as Sega CD, in fall of 1995. It came out on the Genesis first in North America, and then quickly followed by the Super Nintendo, and then finally came out on the Sega CD in November of 95, and was the last game to be released on that console. We're going to play, for the purposes of this episode, which is now episode 85 in this series. I can't believe we're getting close to 100 already. Doesn't seem like that, and sometimes it feels like it's been forever. But we're going to play the Super Nintendo version. For no other particular reason than it was the one that I tested out to make sure it could work on my OBS system and on my emulator, so that's the one we're going to go with. Now, this game is a mix of both platform action game and a run and gun game where you have a top-down option as well. But this game I also expect to not be particularly easy based on my initial trials on it. Now, the one thing that I've noticed already is that this game also has a fair amount of voice work that is brought in where they have dubbed in Sylvester Stallone's voice to be able to sound more like his character John Spartan, which obviously we play as. Now I'm going to pause it here really quick just to give you an idea of how this game works. So if you look down in the lower left-hand corner, that red bar is our life gauge. We only have 2 lives to get through each level. The game starts in 1996, which is when the movie starts. And once you get through this stage, it fast forwards ahead to 2032. It's crazy to think now we are closer to 2032 than we are to 1996. I was not even 20 years old yet in 1996, and I'm going to be well past 50 by the time we hit 2032. And the game follows a pretty simplified plot of the movie, but the trick about this game is that you have the ability to shoot in 8 directions based on where you want to move your control stick. So, to give you an idea, so if I want to shoot up, I can shoot up. If I want to shoot that way, I can shoot that way. Really? Sitting there trying to pick guys off, and I'm still sitting here dying. Alright, so I got the health kit. Now, you get a bunch of weapons at your disposal. Like so. Like, I can throw those grenades. Ooh! And I died because I knocked a bottle or a barrel of C4 over. And that took me out. Now, obviously, baddies are going to come fast and furious in this game. In order to be able to duck, you got to be able to push straight down, which can be a bit tricky depending on when you are... Really? When you're doing things like climbing a ladder. Oh, this guy has a grenade launcher. Now, I will admit one thing, in that while I am very much a movie fan of all sorts, Ow! I have never watched Demolition Man. Never seen it once. It was, considering it was a movie that was kind of tailor-made for me as a kid coming out of the 90s into the 2000s, and somebody who likes science fiction and stuff like that. And I was always a kid who loved the Rocky films, and I even liked the early Rambo movies. But Demolition Man was just, by that point, Sylvester Stallone had very much gone past his prime. So I've never seen it. The only thing I know about it is there is a repeated gag in the movie that has to do with him having to deal with 3 shells. And if you know because you've seen the movie and you know what the gag is about. But basically, it's in the future of 2032, we don't use toilet paper. And if you have to answer the call of nature, you instead have to utilize 3 shells to tidy up after yourself. That's the only thing about this movie that I really know. But we get the patented Sylvester Stallone whenever he gets hit, which if you've ever watched a Rocky movie, you've heard him make that exclamation a gazillion times. Really? I couldn't hit him? Oh, really? That was stupid. Oh, and I... that was really stupid. So... among the many weapons you get in this game, you get your standard issue handgun, which you never run out of bullets. You can also get a magnum, you can get a shotgun, you get hand grenades. And of course, the object of this game is we have to find Wesley Snipes' character of Simon Phoenix and put him out of his misery. Now this is ridiculous. There we go. Now, the fact that we have to be able to try and aim our guns so much in order to hit everybody is kind of annoying. Only because you don't get a whole lot of control over it. Can we make this jump? Yeah, we can. And we get another health kit. I think we... Oop. We just got another guy. And like Earthworm Jim, there isn't a whole lot of stuff that we can use to navigate our way around. We just gotta hope we can ultimately get to the right spot. There we go. Oh, and there's Simon. We throw grenades. Whoop! Except we got burnt, and that took us out. So, where are we at here? We're right outside where Simon is still. Graphically, I don't think this is bad. I mean, we've played Judge Dredd, and honestly, the graphics aren't much worse in this game than they were in Dredd, and in Dredd, they weren't bad. You have to remember, for being the 16-bit era, there was going to be a lot of pixelization. Now, I expect he's going to want to come down and start blowing up these tanks like I just did right there, because I'm an idiot and that's not what I wanted to do. But I still have 2 guys left, so we're going to have to go around again. And what it's doing in creating the whole idea of a quasi-post-apocalyptic or fully anarchic knew that was going to happen. LA circa 1996. I mean, I like the vibe of it, but the controls are very, very wanting. There, blew up that C4 tank. Blew up that C4 tank. And yet, he did something, and it blew me up, and that was it. So we're going to have to go through this again. Alright, just wanted to see really quick on where we're at time-wise. So one thing about the Super Nintendo version is that it had cheat codes that you could unlock using the start menu. I have not done that for the purposes of this trial. But it allowed you to do things like acquire particular power-ups or skip to the next level. And like I said, the Sega CD version was the last version, or last game to be released on the console in North America. Ooh, got clipped. Got the shotgun. And now we got the bungee cord. Oh, we died. So I think I jumped too far. There we go. Get the shotgun. Get the life up. Get grenades. Climb back down. Now, reviewing the Genesis game, GamePro said they found some problems with the game, particularly that it was dreary, dark in terms of graphics. But they found it overall very effective in every other respect. They described it as the kind of game that brings a smile to the face of 16-bit veterans who appreciate a good, solid platform action game. The Super NES version got a review of that it parallels the Genesis game in that it's fast, fun, and explosive. Remarked that though veteran gamers may find the game too simplistic, it is intense and fun overall, and that unlike the Genesis version, the graphics are colorful and effective in conveying the post-apocalyptic settings. Entertainment Weekly gave this game an A. Next Generation, when they reviewed the Genesis version, they awarded it 3 stars out of 5, and said that ultimately Demolition Man is another acclaimed movie game that if you own one, there's no need for any of the others. Alright, I can't seem to get up there no matter what I do. There. So it looks like we... whoa! Careful, John. I like that we can backtrack, because that's not something you're able to do in a great many action games. And, of course, we dropped right to our death. Whoa, don't do it again. No! Damn it! I'm sitting there trying to jump up, and instead of jumping up, I jumped down. Well, that was stupid. Alright, we got grenades. Blow that guy up. Ow! Didn't even see that guy standing there. Alright, we got the shotgun. We got the health refill. Now, this game also did come out on the 3DO, which was a very short-lived console in 1994. And it was given an overall positive review, but Next Generation also gave it 2 stars out of 5. Said if any of the individual stages were crafted very well, it might have worked, but it didn't happen. Oof. Alright, I can't stay there if I want to be able to get through this mission. We can't drop too far because we will lose health. Because John Spartan may be the Demolition Man and Sylvester Stallone might have thought he was Superman, but... people may not like Sylvester Stallone, and there's a lot of things about him that I'm not a huge fan of, but it wasn't the fact that he was a guy who was not willing to, not necessarily bleed for his art, but he got beat up a lot. in the course of his film career. Both in stage combat and actual combat. And you have to at least give him a little bit of respect for that, because he didn't have to. It's very much the precursor to, oh, come on. To what Tom Cruise has done in the Mission Impossible movies. Alright, get the extra life. Some more grenades, come back down. Let's see if we can get through this first mission. We're 21 minutes already. Nope! Damn it. Trying to climb up, and it wouldn't let me. No, don't do it. Stupid, stupid rat creatures. Whoa, careful. The speed of this does take a lot of getting used to. Ah, that's how I get down that whole sled. Alright, get my health back. Now let's see if we can get through this part and not get blown up. Okay, looks like we just had to follow Simon out of the building. Now it's San Angeles 2032. So we have John Spartan about to get thawed out. I love that they say he's 6'1", 192 pounds. Sylvester Stallone is not 6'1". If he's 6'1", I am 6'5". So now we have moved on to round 2. And now it turns into a top-down shooter. But apparently, I'm out of bullets. Interesting. So unlike level 1, I've got to hold down the fire button in order to get there. So now do I start back here? I do. Okay. Well, at least when we continue back in the level we died in. See if I can kite these guys over here. Come on, boys. They're just gonna keep on coming.
Well. Well. Well.
And this is definitely the run and gun portion of it where we just have to keep moving. And find all the hostages. So we got them. I'm almost dead. Can I get to another med pack? Yes, I can. But only just. Ah! Went the wrong way.
Well.
Got that one.
Well.
Now do I have to do this all over again? Whoa! I was going the wrong way. As we're sitting here in the Hall of Violence. Whoa, we got a hostage over here. Grab. Can I use the machine gun? No. Alright, so one life left. And Grenade Boy took me out. So, okay, well, we're almost at a half an hour. And Simon says you lose. But that, everybody, is Demolition Man from 1995 for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System / Genesis / Sega CD / 3DO. Now, is this a good game? I mean, the thing about Akklaim games is that they were always really hit or miss. Very rarely do I remember most Akklaim games of the era in the 90s that were really all that great. Graphically, I would say that, yeah, the Super Nintendo version isn't bad. Again, I like the color of it, I like the vibrancy of it. Of course, all we saw was predominantly that first level. What I think ultimately brings it down is the mechanics. Is that having the first level trying to go with an 8-way directional shooter mechanic, not great. Now the question I have is looking at this in the demo is why am I not able to run and gun like that? I was hitting my weapons attack button with everything I could to get through everything. And I was never firing that fast. Now, if I'd set it to have a turbo function, that probably would have been a lot easier, but I didn't do that because I wasn't anticipating having that sort of firefight with guys in the Hall of Violence. Like most games of its type, I think it suffers from an overabundance of enemies in a given level. Like that second level was pretty nuts, having to weave my way through all of that stuff. I mean, the first thing that came to mind was playing a game like Hotline Miami, which, if you've seen that game, that's all that game is a top-down chaos shooter with everybody coming at you at once. That we get a little bit of Sylvester Stallone's in everything whenever he gets hit. I mean, that adds a little bit of color to it, but ultimately you've got a lot more going on. And is this a game that I would want to be able to try and work my way through in order to beat it? I don't really know. I mean, it's set up with it's got the 2 top-down shooter segments, but it doesn't say overall how many levels the Super Nintendo version is. Is it a game they could make today? Yeah, they could, but Demolition Man was a one-shot movie that is now 32 years old. it wasn't a super popular IP. It had its minute in the early 90s, and some would argue it was probably one of the last decent action movies that Sylvester Stallone did. It certainly wasn't up there with his best ones. I mean, I would say it's better than Judge Dredd, but there's a lot of things that were better than Stallone's version of Judge Dredd. See Carl Urban's Dredd, which was a far better IP altogether. So, you know, this incorporates enough stuff in it that, like I said, there's a version of this game that exists right now. It's called Hotline Miami if you want to do this top-down shooter version. And then if you want to do an action platformer, you could. But you could have to come up with something likely far different than the characters in Demolition Man in order to pull that off. So, I mean, if you've played this game and you enjoyed it, if you got all the way through it, let me know in the comments. I'd love to get your input on it and how well you did with it, and if you found the same mechanical issues that I did with it. Because the big thing that I had was being able to figure out which way I was going to shoot while also being able to duck and avoid being shot at. Because John Spartan is just a regular guy, he's not decked out in armor, and he's running around in a t-shirt. He's wide open to be perforated by as many bullets as Simon's cronies want to send his way. So, again, that is Demolition Man, and that is Suckerpunch Sunday for this week. Thanks a lot for tuning in. If you've been enjoying the content on the channel to this point, you know how to show it. Be sure to also tune in this week, as it will be the last week that we have for Super Robot Wars Alpha Gaiden. I know I've been saying that for a while, but we are finally down to the last couple of missions that I am recording, and my goal is to have them all up by no later than Saturday, which will get us to Sports Saturday, where we are still carrying on with our grand playthrough of Sega Sports NFL 2K2 and building the New England Patriots dynasty of the early 2000s without Tom Brady. We are now 11-1 in that season, so we're getting close to the playoffs. And then once we get through that, we're going to put it to bed and bring back some other games. And then also, once we're done with Super Robot Wars, we are going to go back to doing WTF Wednesdays and one-day playthroughs for a bit before we dive into our spring playthrough. We have picked it out. It will be coming, but we're going to give it a little bit of time to gestate and for us to do some other stuff that we've had on the shelf for a while. Be sure to follow us on social media through Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. Ronan's Retrocade helps spread the word about us as we continue to build this channel and make it bigger and better. My name is Ronan. It's been great to spend this time with you. Be safe, be well, happy gaming, and we'll talk to you tomorrow as we get right into the final missions of Super Robot Wars Alpha Gaiden. Bye.